Hey guys, remember that in this module we are learning how do cultural beliefs and values guide people. And remember, culture is the way a group of people understands the world. So that includes their ideas, their beliefs and values, traditions, religion, language, rules, gender roles, food, clothing, art, music, dance, sports, and other ways of life. So specifically, within the next couple lessons, we're going to be looking at a specific group of people, the Nez Perce. And the Nez Perce are a Native American tribe. So for the next couple lessons, we're going to be looking at how did the Nez Perce's homeland sustain their lifestyle and culture. And sustain just means how did it keep it working? How did it keep it alive? How did it support their lifestyle and culture? And a homeland is where someone is from. So we're going to pay close attention to how the place that the Nez Perce is from, the land, the resources, everything in that area, how did it maintain or support their lifestyle and culture? So we're going to read a couple texts and try to pay close attention to this. So in your notebook or on a piece of paper, I want you to make a quick notice and wonder chart. Go ahead and pause the video as you make that. As we watch this video, I want you to write down what you notice and wonder about the Nez Perce homeland.
It's a landscape that begins in the deep canyons and fertile hills of Oregon. It is an epic story.
I want you to stop and write down what did you notice and wonder. Pause the video and take a few seconds to write down what you notice and wonder. As I was watching the video, I noticed that the Nez Perce lived in Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, and it was a big area of land, and that the narrator said that they lost their homeland. I also noticed that they were riding on horses, and they had headdresses, kind of like I would think of normal Native Americans. They said that this land offered, or the trail offered, a lot of space to trade and hunt buffalo, and they learned how to survive on the land. Then he started talking about later in life, 750 Nez Perce left their homeland, which made me wonder, why did they leave? He also talked about how the land was full of rivers and canyons and mountains, and I noticed he used a lot of really positive terms like beautiful and lush and thrive, which tells me, I wonder if the Nez Perce really loved their homeland. So today we are going to read about the homeland. So I'd like for you to take out your copy of Handout 5A. Just like the author of the video talked about, this tribe was also called the Nimipu. And I'm going to remind myself that this was the Nez Perce, or another name for them. So we're going to read two texts. There's the first text is right here, Nimipu homeland, Nez Perce country, and then the second text is legend times. As we read the text, we're going to do something called annotate. So when we annotate, we mark the text. Marking the text is really important because it helps me to get my thoughts and ideas as I read. So the first time we read the text, we kind of think about what we might notice and wonder. And then the second time we annotate the text. So I want you to pause the video and take time to read the text. Notice that the text goes from the front to the back. I hope that one of the first things you did as you annotated the text was that you saw some of these important words on the back of the page. Remember, this is called a glossary, and this is what the author does for us when there's some difficult words. If you didn't take some time to find those words in the text. So this time, as we read the text, this will be our second read. And as we read, we're going to annotate the text with an S for anywhere we see anything about stories and storytelling, F for food and drink, H for homes and shelter, T for tools, and C for clothing. So let's pay close attention and follow along with me as you read. I know that good readers look at the title of a text and make a prediction about what it's about. So looking at this title, it says Nimipu homeland, Nez Perce country. I think that this text is going to be telling us some information about where the Nimipu or the Nez Perce were from. Long before Meriwether Lewis and William Clark ventured west, before the English established a colony at Jamestown, before Christopher Columbus stumbled upon the New World, the Nez Perce, who called themselves the Nimipu, lived in the prairies and river valleys of north-central Idaho. So this right here tells me about their homeland and where they're from. So I'm going to label it HL, homeland. They lived in prairies and river valleys in Idaho, Montana, northeastern Oregon, and southeastern Washington. An area of approximately 17 million acres. Wow, that is a lot of land. In 1805, when Lewis and Clark met the Nez Perce, they encountered a people well integrated into their environment. If I look back at the term well integrated on the back side of my page, well integrated tells me that they blended into a harmonious or pleasing whole. They were unified. So that's a positive word. I put a plus sign next to it. Nimipu traditions and knowledge of the surroundings were well honed over thousands of years. The Nimipu's homeland The Nimipu homeland's abundant resources sustained their economy, lifestyle, and culture. Wow, isn't that my exact question? How did the Nez Perce's homeland sustain their lifestyle and culture? Well, if I need to answer this, I definitely need to look at Handout 5A because it tells me exactly my answer. It says that the Nimipu's homeland's abundant resources sustained their economy, lifestyle, and culture. That's the main idea. Their homeland was everything to them. The next text. I didn't really see much in that text to annotate about their culture, but I did see some information about homeland and what their homeland was like. So legend times. I know a legend is a story, maybe not really true, but oftentimes it may be true. So I'm wondering if this part is going to tell us more about their culture. Nimipu oral history records their presence in Nez Perce country since time immemorial. Archaeological evidence indicates that people have occupied the plateau culture area of the Northwest for at least the last 11,000 years. Oral history, if you look at the definition, is a historical data often recorded that comprises of first-hand oral accounts. So that is stories. And those stories tell us that they have been around for a long time. Like 11,000 years. According to legend, the world before humans was inhabited by animals that possessed human traits. So here's some more about stories. They're saying that the world was inhabited or taken over by animals with human traits. The primary animal was Itziyi, coyote, who at times had supernatural powers. The Nimipu creation story reveals that when a monster began to consume the animals, Coyote tricked the monster into swallowing him. So here's more about the stories, the Nimipu stories. While in the monster's stomach, he killed the monster and set the animals free. Coyote carved the monster into pieces and scattered the parts throughout the land where they became the various tribes. Itziyi left the heart of the monster near Kamaya, Idaho, and sprinkled the blood around the surrounding countryside and created the Nimipu, the Nez Perce people. These stories provided instruction in Nimipu culture and often conveyed moral teachings and practical information. So this whole section is about stories, and it's telling us that it taught the Nez Perce about practical information. I want you to continue on through the text, through the rest, and remember to annotate the text using S for stories, F for food and drink, H for homes, T for tools, C for clothing, and HL for anything about homeland.